Finally filming it. Okay, I realize that this video is probably late. Um, but by the title of the video, you know what movie I'm going to be talking about. It's The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Okay, now, this movie, first of all, I didn't know until I watched the first Exorcist and I read into things more that there was a sequel to the movie, and then there, of course, there's the third one. But then when I found out it existed, I found out, that the sequel existed and Linda Blair was in it. I was like, okay. People were saying it's horrible. It's one of the worst sequels and stuff. I mean, I had to watch it for myself to see if it was as bad as people said it was. And it wasn't horrible. I feel like this movie is weird. Okay, it's doing that thing again. Sorry. It's a weird movie, and I feel like they could have gone in a different route, and it would have been more effective, and I felt like it would have been a more, a different thing. But some of it just some of these scenes were awkward. I'll say that. I think with the whole locust thing and all the bugs, I feel like we just didn't need those. I feel like you could have just. I mean, I don't think they needed that big of a role. James Earl Jones is in this. This movie was released the same year as Star Wars. So, Star Wars Episode 4, the first one. I almost said Episode 1. I would have been off by 20 years, 20 something, or almost 20 years. I don't know. But James Earl Jones is in this. You have, let me pull it up. The cast. I mean, of course, you have Linda Blair returning, which is cool. This is not the worst sequel I've seen. I'll put it out there. I think one of the worst sequels, or one of the most uncomfortable, what is this sequels, was probably. Now, a lot of people like this movie, so if you like it, you can like it. I remember watching, I'm pulling up the cast list and stuff like that. This made $30 million, wow. I mean, it has Richard Burton, Max von Sydow, I'm not going to say his name correct, he's kind of in flashbacks and visions. Louise Fletcher, who is a great actress. She was in One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Obviously, James Earl Jones. Did I say Richard Burton? Probably. Kitty Wynn comes back and plays Sharon. What was I talking about? Oh, the movie. I think I'd rather watch this over, I'm gonna get in trouble. Over the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. I don't know, I feel, it was awkward. It was just the whole aspects of it were spoiler alert, the guy, it's Freddy is inside of him and he is Freddy. I don't know. It's been a while. I don't really want to watch it again. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I don't really want to watch it. My advice for the Nightmare on Elm Street, if you're going into the Nightmare on Elm Street series and you're just kind of I just want to watch the best ones. I just want to watch I don't need to watch the whole series. The best ones were the ones where Wes Craven was involved. Whether that is directing and writing, just writing, or he was involved in whatever way. The best ones were the first one, okay, Nightmare on Elm Street, the third one, Dream Warriors, and the seventh one, which was New Nightmare. All had Wes Craven involved, all had Heather Langenkamp involved. Okay, this video's not about that. I mean, there were parts where I felt it was kind of dragging, it was slow a bit, but I get it, it's developing. it was cool seeing where like Reagan was 4 years later. I mean, her character's supposed to be 16 in this one because she was 12. The character was 12 in the first one, The Exorcist, and now she's 16. And like the mom didn't return, so Ellen, I almost said, I couldn't think of her name. Ellen Burstyn did not had an itch return to this movie. So they kind of just say like, oh, she's gone a lot, she's working, so she's kind of just her and Sharon. And what I liked about the first one that this one didn't have really a lot of was the first one had these really sweet, like, especially this one scene, like the first Exorcist had this really sweet scene between mother and daughter, and it was really sweet. And when she's going to bed, and she's kind of tucking Reagan into bed, and she's like, oh, it's gonna be your birthday, like, what do you want to do? And she's just like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, oh, you can bring Mr. Dennings or whatever. What? Instagram is popping, y'all. Instagram. And then like there's people that like aren't really active for like weeks, and then they show up. Okay, why doesn't this work? What? Some people are just so strange, but what? Some people are just so strange, but you love them. Like, you're just like, I mean, I'm strange, but like some of the stuff it says are weird. What was I talking about? So they had that sweet scene, and they had a scene with Sharon and Reagan, and where it's like she kind of freaks Sharon out because she makes her believe she can like bend a spoon, but she can't, obviously. She just like tricks her. I kind of miss that. I miss like, I like that we get to see her like 4 years later, and she's 16, and it's kind of like, oh, I don't remember like what happened and stuff like that. But she doesn't remember what happened, and then she's receiving therapy, which is cool, and she all of a sudden has like these powers where she like can hear your thoughts and stuff, which they don't really, the thing about this movie is it doesn't explain a lot of things, like, oh, like, we'll just like do this and like just throw it in there, no explanation, or nobody knows why. Like weird things. And there's a part with Sharon that she all of a sudden, I mean, I'm assuming she's being controlled by Pazuzu, and they say, I mean, that name, the demon's name is corny because they say it so many times, and you're just like, okay, we either need to get a different name, because they never said the name in the original, and that was very, even though it had a name in the script, it's like they never said it, and it was like, it was more effective because Pazuzu's kind of a corny, like, weird name, like, you're just like like they keep saying it, and they're like, they have a straight face when they're saying it every time, like, and you're just like, oh my gosh. Like, there is weird moments, and there's stuff where they do things unexplained, like, you don't know why. Like, Sharon, like, pretty much just starts a fire, and, like, she basically ends up killing herself because she gets burnt, and you're like, jeez, like, out of nowhere, it's just like, she's just staring at the doctor, at Louise Fletcher, and then she just, like, there's, like, already gasoline for some reason, and she, like, steps on this light, and it just ignites a fire, and she, like, basically ends up killing herself, and you're just like, what? Like, she has, like, these wide eyes, she's staring at her, and you're just like, is she all of a sudden just affected by Pazuzu? But why wouldn't Pazuzu possess or control the doctor? Because the doctor doesn't believe in it. Usually the people that don't believe in it are like messed with, and they're like, oh, I believe you. Like, she does believe Reagan at the end, because there is an interesting concept in this movie about like God, like religion and versus science, because Richard Burton is the father in this movie, and he's like gonna investigate what happened to Father Mirren, but like, figures out like, oh, there's still a demon inside Reagan and stuff like that, but it's like, I don't know. very strange thing. What else was weird? Like, there's like unexplained stuff. There's a part where the father goes to Africa because that's where Pazuzu's from, or it's not a biblical demon. First of all, let's get that out of the way. It's from some African story. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. He goes to Africa. He goes to meet this guy that was possessed by Pazuzu. Can't remember his name, but it's the James Earl Jones character, and he's like dressed as like a locust or a bug, and you're just like, no one's gonna take you seriously, no matter if you keep that straight face or not. Like, but then, there's a part where like he's like, prove yourself, walk across this thing, and to the father, right? And it's like this floor that has water and like spikes coming through it, and so the father steps, and so when James Earl Jones is like prove yourself or something like that, he like spits out a tomato or something, or fruit, and it goes on one of the spikes. I was like, why? There's just like a cheap, weird, fake as heck looking bug effect, like one locust, and it's like flying through the air. It's like a huge locust, and you're like, that looks so bad, but like it wasn't that bad of a movie. It's just like it had weird moments. It wasn't anywhere near as good as the original. It wasn't even scary. I think the creepiest part was that they had some other woman who was playing Pazuzu, but like as Reagan, if that makes any sense. Like, because I guess not Selma Blair, Linda Blair, that's a different person, didn't want to be in makeup again, like, which makes sense, because that's like hell, like, you spend like hours just in the makeup chair. But so they had some other chick, and like she tries to, this part where she's pretty much just like touching the doctor's heart, like touching it, and you're like, that was kind of creepy, that scene where they're like all hypnotized, and Pazuzu's is just like, I'm touching your heart. Like, that was creepy, but like this wasn't really like a scary movie. It was kind of like teetering on like sci-fi almost, like with the hypnosis thing, contraption that they do. So yeah, it is kind of interesting with like the sci-fi, like the science versus religion. Like, there was interesting stuff about it. I don't think it was that bad. Like, interesting things were happening, like, you know, with Reagan having to basically fight Pazuzu again. It's just that there was a lot of things that were kind of corny, and you just didn't understand, like, why is this happening, or like, why is this person doing this? Like, there's no explanation. So you just kind of like head scratcher, but like it was entertaining enough for me to like watch the whole thing. I don't think it was absolutely terrible. Like, obviously people were expecting like something like so grand, but like the first one was like, is a classic. Like, it was made so freaking well. But the second one, they could have done, I think the reason why people just don't like it that much is like they could have done it so much more better, and they could have gone a different route with it. Like, okay, have her fight Pazuzu again, but I don't think we need to be saying the freaking thing's name. It'd be interesting if she, like, okay, have her have powers, but like but, you know, she maybe gets it and to fight Pazuzu. Which she does fight Pazuzu, but there's like a really corny like thing where how she defeats it at the end. But there's a weird part. It is cool because she like basically cures this girl of autism. Like, she goes, oh, what's the matter with you? And this autistic girl is like, I'm autistic. Like, she's a non-verbal, like she doesn't speak. And Reagan basically just like fixes it, gives her speech, and she's like, how do you mean? She's like, I don't talk. I can't talk. And she's like, sure you can. I can hear you. She's like, you can hear? Yeah, sure. And then the little girl asks what's wrong with her, and she's like, I was possessed by a demon. And the girl is, of course, scared. Like, this girl's like probably like 10 to 12, and then she's like scared, right? I mean, who would be? And then And Reagan's just like, oh, it's okay, he's gone now. Like, oh my gosh, that scene is golden, because you're just like, oh, it's cool. Like, why would you tell a child, like, oh, I was possessed by a demon? Like, I should tell a child that. But then I love that when she just goes, oh, he's gone now. Like, it's cool. Like, it's cool, kid. Like, I'm good. We're all good. That's so weird. Like, it was kind of funny. Like, I just like it. She just kind of goes, oh, he's gone now. Gosh, and like Reagan has like more style than like what I ever will, like, ever. But that's okay. Like, she's all stylish. She's dressing like she's like, 20 years old and ready for a night out in town. I'm like, you're supposed to be 16. I know she's probably like really like 18 or 17 when she did this, but whatever. Yeah, this movie had interesting things about it. The things, I'm just trying to remind myself. Wow, there's a lot of people. Some of these people I don't even remember. I'm just like, wait, who? Yeah, I just think they could have gone a different route other than just like what they did, because it was weird and kind of corny. Trivia. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, the director of the first film actually went to a sneak preview of it, and it's saying that they entered the so they came in a limo. They told the drivers to go get fast food. They entered the auditorium. Within 10 minutes into the film, an audience member stood up, glanced into the crowd, and proclaimed, "The people who made this piece of shit are in this room." 10 or 12 other audience members gathered to find the executives, which is not true, because the original director of the first film did not direct this. It was I can't remember the guy's name. The heads rushed out of the theater and realized that there were no cars to make their escape. They were subsequently chased down the street by a group of audience. Oh my gosh. That's when you go, I didn't direct this. My name isn't in the credits. Man. Okay. This one's kind of interesting. The original cast and crew of The Exorcist were very much opposed to a sequel. Well, yeah, the first one was so good. William Friedkin, I'm not saying that right, and William Peter Blatty, who wrote the book and then adapted it for screen, actually meant to discuss ideas at one point, but when they failed to develop a suitable premise, they abandoned the project. Both Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn, I'm saying that wrong, turned down repeated offers with the studio. Blair eventually agreed to return when presented with what she considered a good script. However, according to Blair, due to various rewrites, the script ended up a total mess. By that point, however, she was contractually bound to a sequel and unable to drop out of the project. Yeah, that happens. Rewrites. I want to ask her, like, what was it originally? Because they messed it up. Like, it's not a bad movie, you guys. Like, there's some people that go, you just have to respect it as a separate entity. Because it's not going to be the classic first one. It's very different. Like, it's different enough to that you could just be like, okay, this is a separate thing, practically, even though you have the return of some characters. I have to ask her, like, hey, what was it like? Like, what was the original script like before they rewrote it? Damn. The original opening night version of the film was so poorly received that the audience at a theater on Hollywood Boulevard actually threw things at the screen to express their disgust when it was over. Yeah, okay, this already said. Linda Blair refused to be subjected to the makeup she wore in the first film. In flashback scenes, the possessed Reagan was played by a double. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Stanley Kubrick turned down the offer to direct. When John Borman accepted, Kubrick warned him that the only way a sequel to The Exorcist would succeed is if it were to be more graphic and horrific than the original. Yeah. And Kubrick wanted to direct the first one, but they wouldn't let him produce it and direct it. Like, they wouldn't let him do both. Sorry. Linda Blair said Richard Burton started out sober, but frequently became drunk during the middle and end of filming, just as tensions were high among the cast. Ooh. Although widely regarded as a flop, the film is actually the only one of the sequels/prequels to show a profit on its theatrical release, despite being a major underperformer and a critical embarrassment to the studio. However, the film's critical reception was so bad that the plans for a second sequel promptly dropped. The Exorcist 3 would not come out for 13 years. 1990, wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it says people think it's a box office flop, but it was actually, it made over $15 million in profit. So their budget was 14 and they made 30 point something million. Wow, at the time of its release, this was the most expensive film produced by Warner Brothers. John Borman pulled the film out of theaters twice to do some more editing. Aw. Yeah, I should mention that Linda Blair and Richard Burton had great chemistry. I liked their scenes together. In the first one, we had those beautiful scenes between mother and daughter, but this one, we had Richard Burton and her, and I think it was they had great chemistry. She said Linda Blair stated in interviews that she and Richard Burton had got along beautifully, and that he would often come around her quoting William Shakespeare. That's cute. Linda Blair was already in the midst of her drug habits and constantly turned up late to shooting, to the point that she actually considered an achievement that she was only 20 minutes late one day. Wait, what? I didn't know she was into drugs. I don't even know if that's true, because I knew she had issues with she underage drank in a documentary. She never once in a documentary or biography of her has said that, oh yeah, I had drug issues. I don't think I feel I wonder where she says that, where she felt like it was a achievement to only be 20 minutes late. I don't know. I don't think that's true. John Borman was originally offered the opportunity to direct The Exorcist, but passed because he found the script repulsive. Instead, he made... Whoa, my mind is blown. So he was offered to do the first one, but he did the second one. He found the first one repulsive. Well, no wonder this one wasn't a freaking horror movie. Oh my gosh. This is scary. John Borman filmed the scene on Reagan's balcony, which isn't a set, knowing full well he had no way of catching Linda Blair if she fell. Her screams of fear are real. Oh my gosh. Wow, so the guy who directed the first one said it was horrible. Yeah. It's, I don't think it's that bad. It's just, people have been blowing it out of proportion. You have to kind of, watch it and think for yourself. I think there was some gems in there. The chemistry between Richard Burton and Linda Blair were great. And there was, it was interesting to see what she was doing, 4 years later. Like I said, the church versus, science kind of thing. first Exorcist and the third one were serial killers Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite films. One of his surviving victims recalls seeing him watch this film repeatedly in a trance-like state. That I kind of believe. Martin Scorsese was one of the few people who liked the film. The picture asked, does the great goodness bring upon itself great evil? This goes back to the book of Job. It's God testing the good. It's, in the sense, Reagan is a modern-day saint, like Ingrid Bergman in Europe 51, and in a way like Charlie in Mean Streets. I like the first Exorcist because of the Catholic guilt I have, and because it scared the hell out of me, but the Heretic surpasses it. Maybe Borman failed to execute the material, but the movie still deserved better than it got. Yeah, that's beautiful, Martin Scorsese. I love you. Aw. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I don't know what else to say. If I have anything else to say, I'll put it in the description below. Have a wonderful day. Bye.